Good evening, Robert Scribbler here, filming to the south and east from Jeanette's Pier as some small 1 foot to 1.5 foot waves roll in off the North Atlantic Ocean. Conditions right now are rather calm. As you can see, a lot of people enjoying the ocean, but we do have a few surfers just kind of floating around waiting for a wave. And conditions very similar up and down the Outer Banks with 1 foot waves. Coming in off the North Atlantic occasionally, maybe 1.5 foot on the sets. I don't know, you might be lucky and get a 2 foot wave, thigh high wave, if you're fortunate. Nonetheless, waves still rideable over at the shallow points where the sandbars extend into the water. So you might pick off a few. I guess a good day for doing a little bit of groveling, a good evening for doing a little bit of groveling. Conditions expected to be pretty similar tomorrow with 1 foot, maybe 1 to 2 foot waves tomorrow, possibly more glassy conditions in the morning time. And then as we get into the weekend, waves expected to build into the 2 foot, maybe 2 to 3 foot range. But potentials for more stormy conditions seem to have tapered off. So the building wave conditions have moderated. All right, looking at the official reports for the OBX at certain locations. Right now here at Nag's Head, we've got 1 foot wave, semi-choppy conditions. Primary swell out of the east at 1.2 foot. That is a 9-second swell. Winds out of the southwest at around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Air temperatures in the range of 85 degrees. Ocean water temperatures 83. Very muggy with high humidity. Feels like temperatures in the middle 90s, even at 6:20 in the evening. Heading on down south to Rodanthe, we've got 1 foot waves with slight chop. Primary swell out of the east at 1.2 foot. That is an 8-second swell. Winds out of the south at around 9 miles per hour. Air temperatures in the middle to upper 80s, around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. Ocean water temperatures 81 degrees Fahrenheit. And then down at Buxton, we've got 1 foot waves with slight chop. Primary swell out of the east at 1.2 foot. That's also a 9-second swell. Winds out of the south and east at 7 miles per hour. Air temperatures around 85 degrees. Ocean water temperatures 83. Weather today, for the high, we got up to around 88 degrees. Feels like temperatures got up to around 100 degrees. Just really muggy today. Felt very hot. And overall, for waves and weather, similar conditions expected tomorrow. All right, so for the ocean system right now in the tropics, we are just down to one disturbance, this one off of Africa. The other two that were closer to the United States have dissipated and are no longer being tracked by the National Hurricane Center, although this disturbance has recently emerged from Africa, has a 30% chance of developing into a tropical cyclone over the next 7 days, so that bears watching. And then I did want to talk about a new report from our friends, the scientists at the University of Copenhagen, that is covering a very important subject for those of us who live along the coastline and on the continents of both Europe and North America. And that subject is the ocean circulation, the AMOC circulation for the Atlantic Ocean. The circulation for the ocean is driven by a warm water current called the Gulf Stream that emerges from the tropics and the near tropical regions, carries warm water all the way up to the North Atlantic, and that warmer salty water then sinks and flows southward underneath the ocean surface at about 3,000 feet of depth. And that circulates the ocean waters and creates a healthy ocean, but it also creates a milder, more stable climate by pulling warmer waters from the tropics up toward the north, and that helps to moderate the winter conditions both in Europe and in North America. And what the scientists have found is that the circulation, which both helps to keep the ocean oxygenated and healthy, and also helps to moderate our climates, the circulation is at serious risk of collapse between the time frame of 2025 to 2095, focusing in on a central time frame of around 2050 at the midpoint. And if this collapse does occur, it would disrupt the monsoons on the global level, result in extreme weather in the US and Europe, particularly during wintertime, and also likely result in extreme weather for the North Atlantic region. Reduce ocean mixing, which would harm ocean health for the North Atlantic and reduce the oxygenated environment of the oceans, harming sea life, and result in a rebound of ocean water for the eastern seaboard. The Gulf Stream pulls water away from the eastern seaboard, so if the AMOC is disrupted, we end up with a rebound of waters that were typically pulled away by the Gulf Stream, and so that results in about 2 to 3 feet of sea level rise for the U.S. East Coast, which would be a very dramatic sea level rise from the East Coast. So this new report out of the University of Copenhagen adds concern for our climate system, and it shows that the heating that is being driven by fossil fuel burning is at heightened risk of disrupting a very important ocean circulation for the North Atlantic. So as I've been an advocate for a rapid transition to clean energy for this report, for this OBX wave report, I just like to highlight that there's lots of things that really are at stake, and that the impacts, unfortunately, of fossil fuel burning are closer and more intense than we have tended to expect. And this is something that has been a trend in the science, and it just puts an asterisk and really highlights the need to transition to clean energy. So as I always do, or as I tend to do at the end of the OBX Wave Report, I'd like to ask you guys to please do everything you can to help speed the transition to clean energy. Ways that we can help is to vote for politicians that acknowledge and do not deny the climate crisis, and that acknowledge the need to speed to transition to clean energy, and that help to provide policies that support the transition to clean energy, like the recent Build Back Better policies provided by the leader of the Democratic Party. We would like the Republicans to join us in helping to speed the transition to clean energy, but so far the Republicans have been on the side of the fossil fuel industry and on the side of climate change denial, which is very unfortunate, not scientific, and not very democratic, and has unfortunately resulted in the politicization of a crisis that we should all be working to solve. So thank you for joining me for this session of the OBX Wave Report, and I hope you guys do manage to get out in the water. I didn't get out in the water today. Today was a rest day for me, but I am still at 126 surf sessions for this year, so we are really tearing up our goal for surfing. I do hope you guys get out in the water and at least get a chance to do some good grovels in the next day or two, but as we look forward to some better waves on the weekend. So thank you for joining me once again, and I will be back with you shortly.